Hello and welcome to Brock Lively's presentation, Computers in the Workplace. In this presentation, we're going to be looking at three very important things. We're going to talk about the myths about computer programming, how computers are used in the modern workplace, and what you may or may not already know about computer programming, and you're going to be surprised to find out that you know quite a bit. Now, to talk about the myths about computer programming, I have a clip from a British sitcom that I think kind of sums up some of the differences between people who are considered computer people and people who aren't.
Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Oh, okay, well, the button on the side, is it glowing? Yeah, you need to turn it on. The button turns it on? Yeah. You do know how a button works, don't you? No, not on clothes.
Hello, IT? Yaha? Have you tried forcing an unexpected reboot?
No, there you go. No, there you go. I just heard it come on.
Now, this scene from the British sitcom The IT Crowd pretty much shows that there are people who understand computers and get computers, and there are people who are intimidated by computers. Now, there's an old phrase that it's a joke that kind of goes around the computer world, and any computer programming class, usually this phrase comes up. And this phrase is the one that you see on the screen. Now, to someone who's not familiar with computers, they would read this as, there are 10 types of people, those who understand computer language and those who don't. The humor of that is actually the 10 is actually binary for 10, which is the computer code for 2. And so it would actually read there are 10 are 2 types of people, those who understand computer languages and those who don't. And the thing is, people who don't are intimidated by it, and they have this belief that you have to be like special, either some kind of super intelligent person to understand a computer language, and that's just really not true. If you're a computer nerd, you don't have to be a computer nerd to get how to use a computer. In fact, what I've done is, since we're a small, local, rural community, I have looked at some of the major market areas where there are jobs in our town. And just want to go over how some computers are used here in the workplace in our little community. Now, this is a farming community, this is a rural community, and so we've got to start there. And here I have one of the John Deere Green Star GPS systems. Now, there are 14 buttons on this screen. This little device monitors where the tractor is. It monitors the rate of application of chemical, of seed. It can tell the farmer where he's been, what he needs to do, if there's somewhere that he needs to move a little faster, whatever. And by knowing how to access those 14 buttons on the side, he's able to, and the entire screen's a touch screen, and he's able to control precisely how that farm is managed, how chemical is put out. There's no overspray, there's no underspray. He knows if he's skipped a gap or something like that. All right. Also, our sprinkler systems. We use center pivot irrigation systems. They have a center pivot. They go in a circle and they water our field. And you know what? They're controlled by this control panel. And if you look really close, it's a computer. By accessing this table, this monitor screen, you're able to control how fast the sprinkler's running, how much water is being put out, when it stops, when it starts. It's all computer controlled. Even in the retail marketplace, you can't put together work at a grocery store without, or any kind of a store, without using a computer. Computers manage inventory, they manage price markups, they manage everything like that. You've got to know how to use a computer just to work in a retail marketplace. In the medical field, thanks to the Affordable Health Care Act, or as a lot of people like to call it, Obamacare, everything is now saved on a centralized computer. You go to the doctor now, they don't come in with a chart, they sit down at a computer terminal. I went to the doctor the other day for my blood pressure check. He walked in, shook my hand, sat down on his computer, started asking me questions, typed in every question that he was asking, and typed every one of my answers down. When he examined me, he went right back over to the terminal, All this is located in a centralized database. Blood pressure monitors, uh, everything in the medical industry is going to computers now. Even housekeeping. And you think, well, I can just be a housekeeper. Housekeepers don't need computers. I don't want to deal with a computer. My wife works for a company that provides housekeeping services in nursing homes. They're a nationwide Fortune 500 company. They're on the New York Stock Exchange. And the company she works for, she's an account manager. She has one building that's her building to answer to. And I know you're thinking, well, okay, they scrub the toilets. You don't need a computer to do that. They mop floors. They dust the rooms. They sanitize. You don't need a computer to do all that. But you know what? Yes, they do. The time clocks are computers. You clock in, you clock out. Your pay, because there's no paper checks anymore. It's all done electronically. If you need a pay stub, you have to go in here, log into the terminal under your access, and it will print out your pay stub. It will print out your records. As the account manager, my wife can go in there and she can find out how many hours have been worked for the week, who's worked what, and she can do what they call a payroll confirmation. And it's all accessed from this one terminal, our computer. And trash truck driving. I drive a trash truck. And yeah, big deal, okay? Trash truck drivers, surely you don't use a computer, right? Well, actually, I wanted to share this. I drive a trash truck, and it has the brand new Allison digital transmission. And if you notice in here, I'm accessing the transmission terminal, and I'm running a diagnostic check. Knowing how to access that terminal to get it to run this check, that's accessing a computer. It may not, well, there's only 6 buttons. It doesn't look like my computer keyboard. Well, you're right. But it's a computer nonetheless. And being able to access that computer to run the diagnostics to know what's going on. For example, in just a moment, this is going to tell me that my transmission was 4 quarts low, which sounds like a lot, but considering it's a giant transmission on a giant truck, it's like adding a quart of transmission fluid. But here it comes up. It counts down. This is the diagnostic check is running. 1, oil, low. 4, add a gallon of transmission oil, and I'm ready to go. So, what do you already know about computer programming that you may not have thought about? Well, there are 3 basic steps to computer programming that you would learn in a fundamentals of programming course like I'm recommending the Elton Independent School District add. The first thing is boot up or startup. If you turn on your phone, if you turn on your computer, if you turn on your DVR, if you turn on your car, you already have an idea of how boot up or startup works. All right, that's one of the first things that you learn. That's one of the basic fundamentals. You already know how to do some of this. All right, the second thing is call a function. This is when you launch an app. When you take your phone and you say, I need to see the weather, and you hit the weather app, you're launching an app. You're calling the app function. When you tell your DVR, I want to record this show. You're calling the function that I want to record this show. When you get in your car and you say, I don't know where I'm going, I need to check the GPS, you call the function on the GPS. The third step, everyone does this, didn't know you were doing it. It's called calling a method. This is when you tell a function to do something specific. You tell that GPS, I need to know how to get to this restaurant, and you are telling it, this is what I need you to do and return to me. This is very basic stuff that everyone already knows, but they're just intimidated. And having this type of course would help to alleviate and help people to understand how the computers are actually used in the workplace and why they're not something to be scared of. And that, guess what? You're already doing this. Thank you for your time, and I hope that you'll consider this information.